again, this is like, I think, like the third week we're using this, so if it ends up not working out, we'll do something else. Okay, so yes, we are in here. Everyone has passed their health check. Everyone's healthy. I'm actually not that healthy. I'm not feeling good, but from a podcast standpoint, everybody's doing well. Welcome to GameBusters. This is a podcast from GameLuster.com. If you are new here, every week we do a deep dive into a game or a franchise, and we just talk about its development and history and the legacy, and talk about some fun stuff from it. So in this time where everything's horrible and serious, just don't look out the window. Just hang out with us for a little while. I am Nirav, and I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host, Ree.
Howdy, howdy.
And then we have our special guests, are Bri from The Real World.
Hello, hello.
And Nikhil from my brother.
Yep, I've arrived.
Okay. All right, so we're going to jump into the Hall of Fameluster. Bri and Nikhil, I think you both have not been here in a long time, so I just want to update you quickly on the Hall of Fameluster situation.
Uh-oh.
Where to begin?
Yeah, okay, so we're located on, you know, the Majora's Mask moon?
Yes.
With the face? We're on that. And we have when in transit, when we shipped everybody to the moon, we bought some land from Elon Musk because he owns the moon. We invested wisely in Dogecoin, and that gave us the money to buy it for the moon from Elon Musk. But we need a fucking wiki at this point.
We do.
So we have
a law book.
We still, by the way, that opening for a space lawyer is still open. If anyone would like to apply. We have the museum, the Hall of Fameluster museum.
We were actually in court with Elon Musk. We're discussing who between Elon Musk and us is responsible for the people that keep dying on our space colony. So please, we need.
And legally, we are continuing to maintain that it is nature's fault.
We can't control the lack of oxygen up there.
No, we can't. That's not our problem. Anyway, the only surviving person there is the caretaker, which is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. And he's sort of supervising the empty halls of this museum with a lot of corpses in it. So anyway, it's starting to sound like the Hall of Fameluster is a place people don't want to go, you know? Should we? Anyway, I don't know. But... So today we're gonna do. Everyone is bringing in their dumbest Gen 9 name predictions, like for the names of the game. I hope I was clear in what that means. So like the name of the game is like Pokemon Red and Blue, but like what it's gonna be for Gen 9, and this needs to be the dumbest one you can think of, and whatever dumb means to you. So, Ree, why don't you kick us off? What did you have for an idea?
So this was the idea I wanted them to use for Sword and Shield. Just a quick bit of context. I'm not sure how much you guys know about Brexit, but it was a whole thing here, and there was a lot of talk about doing another vote on it.
Yeah, we know
people
Brexit.
Could make up their mind, but people didn't really want a divisive vote again. So I think to mitigate that, because if we're gonna have a second vote, we shouldn't have like big, ugly political campaigns. We should release Pokemon Leave and Pokemon Remain, and let the free market decide what happens with our status in the European Union. So yeah, I'm throwing that in there. Pokemon Leave, Pokemon Remain.
That's actually a really good idea.
I like
Okay.
That's too good. That's too good.
Yeah, that's almost too good for this podcast. All right, Bri, what have you brought?
Okay, so back when they released Pokemon X and Y, I kept thinking why, because they didn't use like colors and such or like materials. I was like, oh, the X and Y and like the controller, right? So I was like, all right, well, Gen 9 is going to be Pokemon A and B, and the legendaries are going to be Dynamax Unknowns.
Okay.
Ooh,
that's a good idea. I like the Dynamax Unknowns. Yeah. All right, Nikhil, what did you have?
So I was thinking of Ruby and Sapphire, where they had Team Aqua and Magma as kind of these two opposing, factions going at each other. So with that, I came up with Pokemon Nuclear and Pokemon Coal, where we have the two energy groups going at each other in these games.
Oh, and this could be sort of a similar thing as Leave and Remain, where like the free market gets to decide what our real life energy sources are going to be. That could be fun.
We decide whether climate change is real. let the Pokemon fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's like the core.
They need to decide. They need to be the ones.
Also, Nikhil, have you played or like seen Pokemon Uranium?
Oh, the like
The
ROM
fan
hack.
one? Yeah, that one's all right.
Yeah.
That's curious. Okay, so mine, I just like. Okay, my first idea was a very like. I don't think it's even qualifies as dumb, but like this is my idea. I have a second one. This is not my entry, but I was like, what if what if the game was just like the name of like two random Pokemon, and that was like the only Pokemon in the game. So like I was like, I don't know why my mind decided it was like Pokemon Raticate and Swampert, which is like I don't know, like maybe
Just
two of
those
the
two.
least exciting, I guess, Pokemon. Yeah, you could get in there. But my real entry that I thought of, which would be just the worst, is Pokemon Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Oh
no.
god, no.
Oh no! I
Burn
mean, what
them
kind
now.
of choice is that? That isn't a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you
What
could
What's
would
the
like the
legendary?
combination, the third game be?
The
Would it be
the
like
legendary
Pokemon
is-
Keemstar or
I think the
something?
legendary-
Is that the?
I think the legendary is like disrespecting Japanese culture,
That's
and
fair.
yeah.
It's just an American flag.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get those votes out there. Ree, where are your two votes gonna go?
Oh, this is a tough one. I like them all. I'm gonna vote for myself, Pokemon Leaf and Rain, but also have to throw one for the Paul brothers just because, like, it would be so bad that I think everyone would forgive Sword and Shield. So, and I like Sword and Shield, so I'm happy with that.
Okay. That's yeah. Bree.
All right, I'm throwing out a vote for myself, and then I'm gonna give a vote to Jake and Logan Paul.
Okay, that is bad. Nikhil.
I will do one for myself, and then I'll throw out one for Leave and Remain.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm definitely gonna throw one out for Leave and Remain. That's an amazing idea, especially with like the real world ramifications. Kind of reminds me of the Splatoon Splatfest thing we were talking about last week. I am gonna give one to myself. So yeah, we're at another tie. So what? How is this? Like you vote. So Jake Paul has sort of become the head of the Leave party, and Logan Paul sort of represents the Remain group. I guess is what's gonna happen.
So the Paul brothers have strong opinions on our membership to the European Union. Now that
Yeah,
sounds even more
I think
cursed than
so.
the fact that they're being mascots in Pokemon games. So not only are they going to disrespect Japanese culture, they're also going to weigh in on international politics. So we
This is
have
the worst
created the worst
timeline.
timeline. Can we please send this to the moon, please?
Yeah, we're gonna send this whole concoction to the moon with the intention of it being destroyed by space. So
this is the one
goodbye,
we'll
Paul
admit,
brothers.
like, yeah,
Please get into
okay,
the
it was
rocket.
manslaughter. We'll
This-
admit to this
one
one
was-
in court. We
This
are
one was
liable.
this one was first degree homicide. I mean,
like,
oh,
our
man.
only
Okay.
defense would be, can you blame us?
Okay, well, let's get into the real stuff. Welcome to Bustums. Today we are talking about Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I don't know if we need as much of a one for this because I think people know what Pokemon is, but like, somebody jump in and tell me like roughly like what is this game? What's it about? Why are we excited?
Well,
catch the
I think
Pokemon?
for a lot of us, people in our age group, this was our first one, I suppose. To many people, the way they talk about it, this is very much our red and blue. If you're like in your 20s, it's probably the one that you heard the most rumors around on the playground. And it was the first on the DS, which was a insanely monstrously popular console. It's a good time all around. It was so innovative at the time. So the leap from like Gen 3 graphics to Gen 4 it was super impressive at the time. Everything had more dimensions to it. So yeah, it's aged like not great, but it's just so fondly remembered, and that's why the Sinnoh remakes were just massive news. And even if people had like fallen out of love with the Pokemon Company and like Game Freak in recent years, everyone's sort of a little bit happy about this, I think.
Yeah, I think thinking about Gen 4's release, the biggest news and biggest change was just the graphical update from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald to Diamond and Pearl. It was like insane. It went from Game Boy Advance to Nintendo DS, and they definitely took advantage. That was the first kind of like 3D looking game for mobile. So I think just the way the game looked was like a completely new experience. But of course, we have to also talk about how slow the battles and animations were. It was pretty atrocious trying to play it.
Yeah, that
The video of someone trying to take down a level 100 Chansey. It's
Yeah,
like
that
10
meme is
minutes
so
for the
funny.
health bar to go down.
God.
Oh no.
Yeah, so yeah, let's get into it. So we're gonna walk through the history of the development for a little bit, and then we'll talk about the game. So Gen 4 was announced at a press conference at the same. So the Nintendo DS was announced at E3 in 2004. I don't remember if I don't know if everyone remembers this, but Reggie Fils-Aimé, this was his first year at Nintendo as the CEO, and he walked out onto stage at E3 and he said, "I'm here to kick ass and play video games, and I'm all out of video games." And that was how he introduced himself at the Nintendo E3 press conference. And he held up a big DS and he was like, "This is the future. The world is in here." It's very intense, and very you can see right away where the whole like how he became a meme very quickly. I would suggest going and watching that
But like
press
at the
conference.
time,
But
that's how it felt. That's how it felt. It felt like the whole world was in there. As a kid, that wasn't even
Yeah.
exaggeration.
Yeah. Two screens and a touch screen? That was crazy.
It's like 2 screens, twice the fun. Yeah, so the DS had just been announced in summer, and then in the fall there was a Nintendo held a separate press conference for the details about the DS, like the specs and some of the games coming up. And they announced Pokemon Dash, which do you guys remember Pokemon Dash on the
Oh, I
DS? You
actually
had to like
liked
move the
that.
stylus
That
on the
was a
bottom
fun
screen,
time.
and like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was all right. It was not bad. We had that, right, Nikhil? I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, we played it at least.
So they announced Pokemon Dash, and everyone was like,
"Okay."
"Okay."
Touchscreen though.
Oh yeah. And then they followed it up with announcing Gen 4 and showing off the games a little bit. So they had Junichi Masuda returned as the director from Gen 3. So just for everyone's reference, Gen 1 and 2 was directed by Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon. He stepped down after Gen 2, and he's still, by the way, the president of Game Freak. But he hasn't worked on any of the games since Gen 3. Like for Gen 3, he wasn't the director anymore. He stepped down and did like kind of a supervisory producer role, and then after that he has had no involvement with the series. I don't know what he's doing. Is he just like raking in that Pokemon money and just sitting in his big mansion?
I think I
don't know.
would, after any involvement with this generation, I'd just be like, yeah, I've peaked. The career isn't getting much better from here.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it gets a lot better than inventing Pokemon. So, yeah. So Masuda, by the way, he and his partner Shigeru Omori, who was like the game designer, the two of them would go on to direct every mainline game in the series, even up until now, up through Gen 8. So, yeah, this was so starting in Gen 3. So this was a Masuda and Omori returned to make this one. So this was the first game on the DS, like we said, and the game they really wanted to, like you said, Nikhil, take advantage of the hardware. And so when they showed the game off in 2004, they had announced it for a 2005 release date with the launch of the DS, and it wasn't able to make launch. They said like they were specifically trying to hammer out how to get the Wi-Fi like to work very well with like the trading and battling. And work with the DS's capabilities for that. And so they had to delay Pokemon past launch until 2006 for Japan. And so it didn't make it to the West until 2007. But yeah, they were able to, like, a huge deal, bring Pokemon online, which was like crazy. Like that began the whole competitive scene like began with Diamond and Pearl. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you guys? How did anyone remember like using the online stuff for the first time.
Yeah, I
Oh
used
my
it was the
god.
GTS, the global trading
Oh, the
system.
GTS, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, you could
Yeah.
like put up a random Pokemon and get a random one back.
That was fun.
I
Or
think
like,
Wonder
I mean,
Trading.
that was pretty sophisticated
Wonder Trade,
too.
yeah.
You could put up one and then like specify a certain level and like
Mhm.
gender type for another Pokemon and get it back. So it was guaranteed no one could give you a Rattata for your Moltres or something like that.
Yeah, and the GTS is still
I
operational
can
today.
wait, is
Well,
it?
not the one from
I didn't
Diamond
think you
and Pearl.
could.
Not that one. No,
I was about
not
to
that
say.
one. Like
I was like, damn.
the current games still have the GTS in them for you to use the same way.
Yeah. It was such a magical experience having that for the first time. It really felt like there was endless possibilities because Pokemon had been such like, I don't know, for me it was just like I play it after school in my room on my own. And now it was like I can play with my friends, I can trade stuff. It felt like a community, you know? Even if that community was mostly like giving you a level 1 Rattata and demanding like a level 100 shiny Arceus or something. It was part of the experience.
Yeah.
It was.
One thing I actually did for Tech Raptor, I did like that series of retrospectives for each generation, and when I was going back on Gen 4, like I think what I kind of realized was that we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but this Gen 4 in 2007 coincided pretty exactly with the advent of social media, and like online forums were just like in full swing. You know, there was never a better time for like small weird communities on the internet. And this was one of those things where like even if you didn't have any friends that like were into Pokemon, like you could still be part like a very tight part of a community of people who were excited about it. And like it totally changed the way that people like consume media. And I think Diamond and Pearl were like kind of the thing in video games even that like exemplified the power of like what online communities could do for a game.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I've got so many fond memories of like the Pokemon fandom online as a kid. I think this generation was just so influential in how fandoms will go forward. I wish, I mean,
Yeah.
not completely because I think the Pokemon fandom isn't as wholesome as it used to be, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have that to thank for so much of what we have now.
yeah, and I would say like Pokemon as a game and franchise was like always meant to have online capability and be played online, just with the whole trading and battling system. Versus a lot of other types of games where you could or you don't necessarily need it, but Pokemon always needed that online component.
Yeah, I agree with that because especially with like I've talked to I mean Nikhil, you and I were like always set because like we each got like different versions, which was
Yeah.
like really easy. But like a lot of people didn't have that. Like Bri actually is right here.
Oh,
And I remember you telling me like you had to like buy both versions and stuff and like trade between them in two different like DSs and stuff.
I mean, as Ree was saying, I was absolutely in a dark corner of my room with like two DSs trying to trade back and forth.
Right.
It was good times. It builds character.
Yeah.
Just
Um
it does. See, I had siblings who played it, but we were incredibly competitive and we would do like the multiplayer just to fight. There was no trading. That was too friendly of us. So it was mostly a solitary experience. One thing I loved about Gen 4 multiplayer was the contests. Just am I the only one in existence who loves the Gen 4 contest and used to do that multiplayer all the time?
I did not do the multiplayer contest in Gen 4.
They were the best. I had all the ribbons. It was the best.
I never got into the Gen 4 contests very much, but I did like I was like a contest fiend in Gen 3. Like
Yeah.
my Wailord was the most beautiful creature, and we went all the way to the Masters and we won. Was a big proud day for me. But yeah, so let me see, where were we here? Yeah, so the games were designed with the DS's like unique features in mind, such as like the touchpad and the Wi-Fi, but they also designed it knowing about, the Game Boy Advance slot, knowing that you could like have the older Pokemon games in the Game Boy Advance slot on the DS, which by the way is like, how cool is that on the DS?
Yeah,
Like,
just
Oh
having the slot
god,
at all.
I
Yeah.
miss when like game developers made games, and not all of them, of course, but like it was like, holy shit, what can we do with this? Whereas like I loved Sword and Shield, but if you compare it to the lackluster features in that game, and it's just like,
Yes.
damn, back then they didn't have to do all the GBA compatibility, but they did because it was cool, I miss that.
Yeah. So about the graphics, like most of the graphics and pictures and stuff in Diamond and Pearl are 2D, like pixel work, the same as the last one, but the difference is that structures became 3D. And I think that, like you said at the time, this was really cool and it felt like a huge difference. Going back and playing, I've been playing Platinum slowly on my 3DS like for the last like few months, and just looking at it in like from a now perspective, it's not as impressive, and it kind of like it the building, the whole, it's like a parallax building thing. So like as you drive by a building or whatever, you can see the 3D, the sides of it move. It's a little janky and it's like kind of jarring, I guess, is all. It, like I said, it just didn't age extremely well, but it was like super cool. Like it looked very very 3D when it came out. Um,
Yeah, I
so
couldn't
the
believe they pulled it off back then.
Yeah. The decision to like leave it in 2D actually drew a lot of criticism because a lot of people were expecting a fully 3D game on the DS, and one of the producers said that they wanted to maintain like the original idea of a Pokemon game being like the feeling like the map was bigger than it is almost. Having like you as like a little pixel and like the world moving around you like that is uh it's a good way to make the whole world feel a little bigger than it actually is. Like, I mean, if you've ever looked at like the pictures of like the route for like like the route maps like for the whole region, and you see like just how like small it actually is, it's like really surprising because like the way that they like the way that they do the top down stuff on these maps makes the world feel enormous.
It does, and I think it's also part of like the almost like the uncanny valley. If it's 3D, your brain expects it to be like a wholly 3D world. So if you see something, you should be able to go there. And I think that was one of the big problems with Sword and Shield is like, oh, I'm gonna go see this building, and you just keep running into invisible walls, which makes it really frustrating. But with 2D, your brain just kind of like fills in what should be there. You just like imagine the space around you, which
Yeah.
makes it feel bigger.
Invisible walls are never my favorite thing, and like one game that I love about like how they do that is like in a Breath of the Wild, like the whole world is surrounded by like this giant river, and just like there isn't enough stamina in the game for you to ever cross it. Like it looks like you could cross it and climb it, and I mean, but you just can't. You can't get there, so it doesn't like artificially block you off with like invisible walls or anything like that, which is nice.
Right.
So this is a really interesting thing. I did not know about this, and it's because it only happened in Japan. So the Japanese release of Diamond and Pearl in 2006 had a game-breaking bug in it where you could get trapped in a wall in the game, and then all of your save data would get erased.
It's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah,
Nice.
like it doesn't get a lot worse than that. And so because even though the DS had like internet capabilities, this was 2006 and not everyone was expected to have Wi-Fi, That wasn't like a thing that people just always had at home. And so in order to fix this problem, and I mean, this like before the internet days, like if a game shipped out with a game-breaking bug, it was just broken forever. Like there wasn't a way to patch anything. So this is crazy how they did this. Nintendo created a set of DS stations, and they coordinated with retailers all over Japan to set up like a kiosk thing, and you would go to it and you would insert your cartridge for Diamond and Pearl, and it would do all this like processing stuff for a few minutes, and then it would fix the bug. It would like install the patch into the cartridge.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Oh my god, imagine if
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red had to do that for Cyberpunk. Imagine how many trips you'd be making.
God, yeah, I was thinking about Cyberpunk with this too. I was like, my God. So this was like one of the
Every
first big
time you
examples
see
of a
someone's
game.
texture's not loading, you had to go to the center and get your game updated for every single bug you encounter.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this was like one of the first big examples of a game like having like this breaking bug and like having to be patched like this. But yeah, in the future, like whenever this happened, of course, people would just send updates over the internet, and that was fine. So this game launched in April 2007 worldwide. I just was curious. Got an 85 on Metacritic. Gen 3 only got an 82, so up a little bit. Doing okay. By the way, so George, the Nintendo of America's vice president, who at the time was a guy named George Harrison, not the Beatles man, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a note that he said like the games, I have a quote, are attracting players of all ages, from younger children to grown men and women, older players who played the original Pokemon games. So as a result, I didn't know this either. Pokemon USA opened a temporary boutique in the Times Square Toys R Us that sold exclusively Pokemon licensed merchandise. Like all this like exclusive stuff that you couldn't find anywhere else in the world. The store had planned, the Toys R Us planned to open temporary boutiques in all of its domestic locations, and it got to some of them. It didn't make it across the country. We didn't see this ever, right, Nikhil? Do you remember Toys
No,
R
I
Us
don't.
having this?
No.
Hey, Ree, did you guys ever have Toys R Us over there? Did that make it over there?
Yeah,
I'm
it was a
guessing not.
massive thing here.
Oh,
Yeah, we had it here, and it. I don't remember any of that, but they did a lot of like Pokemon tie-in events where if you took your game there, you got a free Pokemon. I'll probably ramble on about that later, but that was the coolest shit. I loved those events.
yeah. I still have a very I have a very fond memory of when I saw Pokemon the first movie in theaters, because it was my friend's birthday, and we were all like, for his birthday, like, we all went to the Pokemon the first movie in the theater, and I was like, what, like 7 or 8, whatever, six, I guess. But like that was like hype as fuck, and when you got there, they gave you that Mew card in like the line there if you came on like opening night. It was like
Oh,
fucking
God,
crazy because it
yes.
was so fucking hype. Yeah.
I miss the community
All right. So
that these games used to have, and also I was like, oh, did I see it in film in theaters? And I realized I wasn't actually born when it came out, so I just wanted to put that out there. God, I watched it on
Jesus
VHS
Christ.
and it came with the card. That was pretty cool.
That first movie came out in 1999. Is that right? Am I thinking right?
It's
That sounds right.
98, and I
I
was
think
born
so.
in
Yeah.
99, so I just missed it.
98. Oh my god. Okay. So here's some of the changes from Gen 3. Like I said, with the pixel art with 3D like parallax graphics for buildings. So this is a huge one, and I'm sure we could talk about this for a long time. But this is the generation where physical and special moves got split up, and changed the game completely forever, and like much for the better. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Nikhil, you want to talk about that a bit?
Wait, which one specifically? There's so many like quality of life.
Oh, the splitting of the physical and special moves.
That was huge. I mean, like Gengar previously was trash because ghost types were all physical. So like, and Gengar obviously had high special stat and low regular attack stat. So like, for example, his Shadow Ball move would not be good in previous generations. It was very, very counterintuitive. But they finally fixed that. Anything that should be a physical move where it's actually, physically hitting the other opponent was made into a physical move, and then these more like Ice Beam and projectile type attacks were made into special attacks. And then they also added status attacks for things like Toxic or Thunder Wave. Really, really intuitive and like way upgrade for how they were doing it before.
Yeah, like it was sorted by type before, which is like you said, like even like every ghost attack was physical. It's like the stupidest idea. Yeah, it's that, and that is really like, and like I said, Gen 4 is when competitive battling started. Because like one, the online obviously, but two, the making it so you could actually have like, you could strat out like the best ways to build your Pokemon. Like you could figure out these are the good moves to use. I want to pair that with this item, and I want to pair that with like these EVs and IVs. And like this was also the generation that like EVs and IVs were something that like the game like acknowledged and let you actually check in some way.
Yeah.
Even if it was some man telling
Yeah,
you,
it was like
Pokemon's got a good attack.
yeah, it's like an old man. He's like,
Yeah.
I like this Pokemon 3 out of 5. It's like, what are you saying?
Very cryptic.
Yeah, but like this was the first time they like kind of acknowledged that like EVs and IVs even existed as numbers. I don't, and those are effort values, and is it inherent values for IVs?
I think so.
I think so.
EVs are, if you hear people talking about that with Pokemon, EVs are basically your it's your like secret stats almost. It's like how much
It's like skill points from
yeah,
like
it's like
RPGs.
yeah, it's like your skill points, and you can basically, the way Pokemon are configured, you can max out 2 different EV types. So there's every Pokemon has 6 stats: HP, speed, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and you can max out 2 of those for every Pokemon. So you like, okay, so my strategy, like for instance, I have my one and only like competitive Pokemon build that I came up with myself was for my physical attacking Drifblim, which is still amazing. But like, yeah, like that one has like a maxed out speed and attack, which is like very unusual for that kind of a Pokemon. But I have like a whole thing. It has like the power seed, or what was it called? Power herb?
Oh, white herb.
White herb? Is that the one that lets you do like a double attack on one turn?
Oh,
It's
that
whatever
might
that
be
one is.
yeah, the power herb.
That might be a power herb, but it has that, and then it has a Phantom Force. So that's a 2-turn attack that you do, and it always goes first. So I do that on the first turn, and it uses up the power herb. And then I also have the ability Unburden on that Drifblim, so that whenever it has a held item and then it loses the item, its speed doubles. But I also have the move Acrobatics on it, so whenever it loses an item, its attack the attack power of that move Acrobatics also doubles. So like you go first turn, you smack it out of the park, and then suddenly you have like the fastest and like strongest attacking Pokemon ever just coming at you.
I did that with a Gliscor.
That's
I used
diabolical.
to use it on Pokemon Showdown. I would have the Toxic Orb on it since you wanted to poison yourself. For
Yeah.
poison heal ability, and then I would use Fling, which flung the Toxic Ball at the opponent and poisoned them. And then it had Acrobatics for the doubled power after it flung the Toxic Orb.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was
yeah,
kind of a fun setup too.
That's a good setup too. Yeah. So this is when this whole thing started, right? And there's whole websites and stuff and communities dedicated to these Pokemon builds. Like Smogon is obviously the biggest one. And this was when I also want to say, like, it just really coincided with like the development of the internet. Like this is when places like Cerebi.net were like getting huge, getting millions of hits a day.
The
With
Bible of Pokemon.
Sorry?
It's the Pokemon Bible, Cerebi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I it depends what I'm looking for. I alternate between Bulbapedia and Cerebi. I'm not like super loyal to either, but
yeah, Bulbapedia is definitely the modern version, but back in the day, all we had was Cerebi.
Yeah, Cerebi was there for us before like the internet was there,
Yeah.
like in the before times.
See, I feel bad because I didn't look at any of these sites. I got all my information from the primary school playground, which meant I was not doing the right thing for most of it.
The whole concept of just like being on the playground and people passing around rumors about like new Pokemon stuff is just like it's so nostalgic for me, because like there was so much of that. Like, I mean, I don't know, Nikhil, I don't know if you were too young for this. Do you remember like the Mew under the truck thing in Red and Blue?
No, I only found out about it like in my later years. I didn't know.
Yeah, I remember actually hearing about that on the actual playground and like trying to get it to work and not getting
same
it.
Here. Yeah.
The one I think about a lot is I remember like when I was like in whatever like first grade, maybe, I don't know, second grade, when Ruby and Sapphire had been announced and weren't out yet, and like people were spreading rumors about that, and like the double battle thing had been taken to such an extreme. People were rumoring that there were like 8 Pokemon battles. And I remember like standing in the lunch line and hearing about that, and I was like, holy shit.
I can remember like one really there was this guy who was like the chief bullshitter of my primary school, and when Gen 4 was coming out, God, I must have been like year 3 or something. I don't know how to translate that to American grades, but he was the one guy in class who would insist that he had an uncle that worked at Nintendo who would give us like the leaks and shit. And his thing is that he was very insistent that Turtwig was going to be a dragon type Pokemon. We fully believed him. and Chimchar was going to be a poison type. And
Yes.
yeah, and Piplup was going to be something else. And that was a rumor that persisted every single generation, was that like the starters weren't going to be fire, grass and water this time round. And I can remember like there was another version of the Mew under the truck one in Diamond and Pearl. I can't remember what it was. And Arceus was a huge one. Did anyone ever hear any Arceus rumors?
I feel like I did on him. I can't remember what, but people were so confused about like he was very mystical and like mystified as a Pokemon.
Yeah, I can remember spending like an hour with trying to find that flute or something, or like I had a flute and was trying to use it, and I was like convinced if I just did it on the right square, I was gonna get this sequence happen because Oscar from school said it would happen. Shout out to Oscar if you're listening to this, even though we haven't spoken in like a decade. Fuck you for making me think Turtwig was gonna be a dragon type.
Man. Yeah, I unfortunately by this time I was when Diamond and Pearl came out, I was a freshman in high school. And so for me, like the time of Pokemon it had kind of passed for a little while. And like I mentioned this before, but like the 4 years that I was in high school, I didn't really play any video games. Cuz like I guess I was like too cool for it, but I also was in the marching band, so I don't know what I was doing.
It also took up like 80%.
Well, you can only do one uncool thing.
Yeah. And I will say that in marching band, a lot of our time after school in the band room was spent using the 16 computers in the band computer lab, which I don't know why we had because we never used it, except that they were all already set up to play Halo 1 like on a LAN connection. And so like basically we would just have these like I played so many hours of Halo 1 on those like shitty computers at our school after school with people. This is not really related to
kind of
Pokemon.
Incredible that it actually worked though.
Yeah, it's great. Do you remember that at all, Nikhil?
Yeah, I remember the Halo computer lab.
Yeah. Those are good times. Anyway, like I missed out on Gen 4 and Gen 5 when they first came out. Like I played Gen 5 a little bit later, like after I tried 6, and then like I'm playing Gen 4 for the first time right now with Platinum. But yeah, I feel bad because I totally missed out on those two generations because like I was too like grown up for Pokemon, and then like the minute I got to college, it was like absolutely like everyone was just a nerd again, and it was like totally socially okay, you know.
That was a good
oh god, yeah! As soon as you
I
hit
remember.
16, there's a Pokemon Renaissance, and it's amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah. So there were some other minor quality of life adjustments here, like
running
backpack,
inside, very important.
Yeah, running inside extremely important. Backpacks having unlimited space also extremely important.
Yeah.
This was also the first time male and female Pokemon had different designs, which would continue over the years, and which is a really cool little feature. The dynamic day-night cycle was there, and it had like music changes and stuff depending on the time of day, and the day of the week. So I didn't know this, but each track you hear is like slightly rearranged for the day and the night, and for each day of the week. So there's like 14 iterations that are slightly different of all these route songs.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've
that's
played
really, it's like
an embarrassing
really
amount
going
of that
above
game,
and beyond.
and I didn't know. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
well, there.
Sorry. Another
Yeah.
thing. Do you remember the Underground?
Yeah, that was so interesting. That was where you did the fossil dig, right? Like you were digging
Yeah.
for underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
And you could have your bases, and you could like set traps for your friends. Like if you went into the underground, it was like Street Pass or something. Whereas someone else near you went into the underground, they'd see you there.
Yeah, you could see them.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
I never got to use that, but like so what these were called something different though. It wasn't secret bases anymore. They had a new name.
Hidden bases.
Hidden bases. Yeah, that was what it was. You're right. Yeah. The PC boxes expanded so that they held like twice as many Pokemon now. There were a bunch of new types of Pokeballs, new contests. And then you got to run inside building. Oh, I already said that. I'm just looking at my list here. Running inside buildings is so important. We need to say it twice though.
Actually, yeah. Man.
And of course, and so we had like the Battle Frontier return in like a different form. So do one of you want to like talk about that? Because that Pokemon fans like always cite like the Battle Frontier as like one of the series highlights, and then like never explain to people who don't understand like what it actually is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a post game way to battle. So basically, when you're done with the Elite Four and all the gyms, and there's not much to do inside the game, you can go to the Battle Frontier, and basically it's a challenge where your Pokemon are all set to the same level as your opponents, and usually you would want to use Pokemon with good movesets and maybe that you've EV trained, so pretty strong Pokemon and you basically just go as far as you can battling, and you get points which you can trade for rewards. So it's kind of just like a post game challenge you can repeat.
The thing people liked so much about the old Battle Frontier was that there were different kinds of challenges you could do. That had like different rules and regulations and restrictions on them. So like in Emerald, I remember at least they had like one where like you can only use like first stage Pokemon, and there's like it's things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of they had that in like Pokemon Stadium. It was like kind of reminiscent of those where you could enter the the Little League Cup and all those different types.
Yeah. So I think we already talked about that here. Yeah, did anyone play Platinum specifically?
I did not.
Absolutely.
Okay, Bri, why don't you walk us through some of the things that were like different in Platinum from Diamond and Pearl?
I mean, besides like just like minor updates, in terms of like visuals or like major glitches that came out, Platinum came out with the Rotom forms. So originally, Diamond and Pearl just had like regular Electric Ghost Rotom, but then in Platinum they got Heat Rotom, Wash Rotom, and all of those. Which, I mean, those are still major players in like competitive play today.
Yeah.
So that was like a major, major change. Also, I think Frostlass came out in Platinum. I don't think it was in a Diamond and Pearl, and that's a genuinely decent Ice type Pokemon, which is pretty rare. And it's definitely one of my favorites. So yeah, and I mean the whole Distortion world, obviously.
Yeah, there's a whole post game. It's like a few hours that is a lot of people cite as one of the highlights of the whole series, the Distortion world, which is just it's just hell. I mean,
it is, and the Cyrus battle is honestly so difficult. Platinum is the only game I've tried to Nuzlocke, and it's one of the hardest Pokemon games to Nuzlocke, and it's because of that fight. It's so difficult.
Oh,
I
God,
also brought
yeah,
us
I can imagine that's the hardest.
Yeah, this game also brought us Cynthia, who is my favorite.
Wait, there's one more.
So even simping Cynthia so much.
Call her Cynthia. I don't know.
Well, the other thing was level 1 eggs. Like until now they were level 5 for some reason.
Yeah, that's interesting too. You're right. Yeah, the baby Pokemon were now level 1, which is I guess I forgot that they used to hatch at level 5. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah. Also interesting was the what was I gonna say? Anyway, we'll keep going. So yeah, after this, after Platinum, we got the remakes of Gen 2, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, which were part of this generation, which are the best ones. So.
Oh my God, they're phenomenal.
Those are probably top games in the franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that it's ever gonna get that good again. But yeah,
It's
they added so much stuff into
the perfectly what to do. It was so effortless with how good it was, and then they decided to erase their memories of how to make a game like that. That's the only explanation. I love Gen 5, don't get me wrong, but it peaked there.
It's strange that they were so ambitious with the games back then and kind of just like really have phoned it in a few times now. Does anyone remember? So, does anyone have any specific favorite or least favorite Pokemon from this gen that were introduced?
I mean, I think a lot of people were kind of upset with the additions of all these evolutions to Gen 1.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a contentious point.
Yeah, and I don't know. Personally, I feel like it's been long enough that I occasionally forget that Rhydon didn't always evolve into Rhyperior. Like he was just kind of always there, But I remember at the time I wasn't a fan, and I don't know. I feel like for me, I think the babies were easier to accept into my heart. Happany was okay, fine,
yeah,
sure.
Smoochum and Magby and all of them were really well done.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite Pokemon, Drifblim, was introduced in this generation. If anyone doesn't know the lore, Drifblim just like casually floats over fields, the hot air balloon one, and then it just like sort of like people like kids will see it and grab onto one of the strings and it will drag them to hell. It's in the Pokédex.
Love the Pokédex.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh man.
I will say that like a lot of the evolutions that they made you do in Diamond and Pearl were just ridiculous.
Oh, they're so
like,
stupid. Like Lickitung has to know rollout and be like standing in the mountains.
You have to go through.
oh my! Like take your Eevee to like this glacier,
just to
walk around it 3 times and level it up. It's crazy.
There's this
Yeah,
video on like how to fill up the entire Pokédex in Gen 4, and not even just the evolution, just catching everything. There was just so much bullshit involved. I don't know how much free time they thought everyone had. I mean, I had a lot because I was a baby, but you know, not everyone was 8 years old or however old I was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there were a lot of crazy evolutions, and they like try to explain it away by being like, oh well, otherwise they'd be able to have do it before, and we got to maintain that canon that everyone's so concerned about.
Yeah, it's like your Magneton couldn't evolve in the previous game because this item didn't exist in this location at this time of day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh god, just let me just give me like a Magnemite stone or whatever, like whatever you just anyway. Okay, so yeah, does anyone have any specific thoughts on the story or the evil team or whatever?
Galactic,
yeah.
Yeah, they were kind of
Galaxy.
weak. I don't know. They didn't have a very
Galactic didn't have a lot of character.
They were like, we're just gonna unleash literal hell on Giratina for no true reason.
Yeah.
I think the charm of Gen 4 isn't in its story. It's like when I think of playing Gen 4, my best memories are just wandering around until I found something. And I can remember, like, maybe it's just me not reading the text in the game, but I can remember just stumbling across the mansion with Rotom in it. I can remember just finding the bit with Giratina open up, and it's just I miss that a lot in Pokemon games. Just being able to experience it at your own pace and being rewarded for exploring stuff. That the main story was definitely weak, but that was not the main focus really.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's something that's missing from a lot of the new stuff. I think the one big experience that I had that like reminded me of how great that feels is did anyone else play Let's Go?
No, I didn't play it.
A bit in the beginning.
Okay, so yeah, and honestly, the only reason I made it to the end of this game is because I was playing co-op with a friend, and like we were like going to be miserable together. But there's a really cool thing in the so you guys remember in the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island?
Yeah.
There is a whole bunch of stuff there that's like in the original games that's like unexplained. It's just like we were doing experiments here, whatever. So if you remember from Pokemon the first movie, like that is where Mewtwo was created, is the lab on Cinnabar Island. And that in the has anyone seen like the Japanese version of the first movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
Anyone who is listening who has not seen it,
No.
there's about a 7 or 8 minute scene at the beginning of Pokemon the first movie that was cut for the US release. I believe they even dubbed it, and I think you could find the dubbed version on YouTube. It's very sad, and it gives a whole brand new context to the whole story. But it basically you remember the weird scientist guy who's like heading the Mewtwo development stuff.
Yeah.
His daughter actually was like born with like a health defect, and like on the verge of death. He like had to place her in one of these like machines like Mewtwo is to keep her alive until he could figure out a way to like heal her. And so at the same time, he also has this Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle that are like in these little tubes along with the Mewtwo that he's growing. And all of these, there's this like dream world that where all 5 of these people, like the Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, and this little girl and the baby Mewtwo all exist together, and they all like play and laugh in the fields and everything for like eternity until like one day, like the girl like disappears because her body has failed, and Mewtwo, like in his anger, is when this is when Mewtwo wakes up, and in his anger he sees what has happened to like his friend, and that's why he destroys the lab and everybody in it. And that's why he enlists the Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander, the clones of them, because they didn't survive, to be like his like assistants when he creates the New World Order.
See,
Yeah.
I could
Anyway,
vaguely
this
remember
movie deserved an Oscar.
all of that, and I'm like convinced. I'm like convinced. I was convinced that I invented that scene in my head, like it was the Bernstein Bears or something. Like it never actually happened. I was just super convinced it happened. I can't believe that's actually in a kids movie. Holy shit.
It's incredibly sad, but it's like it gives a lot of weight and context to the whole movie. And like it like really helps you understand Mewtwo's actions and decisions. Yeah. So I highly recommend any Pokemon fan go watch that. So in that movie also there is that little girl that was there that disappears, that is Green. Her name is Green from like the manga.
Oh.
And that and so there's a whole story there where she survived in the context in the world of Pokemon Let's Go. She survives this explosion, and she grows up in the world, and she is always looking for Mewtwo. She's like trying to find her last surviving friend, and she's like an adult now. And when you go to the Pokemon Mansion in Let's Go, this is so far off track, but it's really interesting. Sorry, but you go to the Pokemon Mansion, and you see the whole lab. You see the lab underground, and you can see like all these notes left over. You can see the tubes where each of them was being held, and they're labeled for like Bulbasaur and Charmander, Squirtle, like Mewtwo and Green, and like you see all the lab materials and like the diary of the guy who was like keeping it, and like the lab has been destroyed and the roof is gone, and like where Mewtwo like flew out of it. And then at the end of the game, when you get to Mewtwo in Cerulean Cave, you actually have to fight Green to get there, because she's like, I'm not going to let you take him from me. Like, we finally found each other again, and you have to like defeat her before you get to Mewtwo.
That's kind of sad. Then I wouldn't even want to catch Mewtwo.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm almost mad to hear this, because they had the thought to put that reference in, which I'm imagining a lot of people wouldn't get, especially younger Pokemon fans who probably haven't seen the first Pokemon movie, let alone the Japanese version, and they didn't have the thought to maybe make the game a bit more fun.
Oh yeah, like the number of people that made it that far is probably not the highest. Anyway, sorry, we'll probably do a Let's Go episode later when they inevitably announce the Let's Go Johto. Yeah. I have no idea. Anyway, so yeah, let's close out on this. What's everyone's thoughts on the upcoming remakes? Like, do you like the look? Do you not like the look? Are you excited about a exact 1-to-1 remake or no?
I mean, I didn't expect too much. I think I'm not, opposed to the design. I think it looks fine. I just think a lot of people were very disappointed that it's a remaster, not a remake. I was expecting like a full-fledged, essentially a new game, just using the Sinnoh region, not a, 1-to-1 remake with even like 2D pixelation on this like amazing console that can run things like The Witcher 3 on it. So I was definitely expecting a lot more. I don't think I'm going to buy it, because I mean, I still have my DS, and I would rather just play Platinum on my DS for like the nostalgia purpose if I'm going to play it.
Okay. What about you, Nico?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks pretty decent compared to the old one, but but compared to like what it could run, seeing other games on the Switch, it's not like entirely impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, think about like look at Sword and Shield, and then look at like Mario Odyssey next to it, like running on the same system. The discrepancy is like unbelievable. Like, do we really want another game that looks and runs like Sword and Shield, or like, I don't know.
Sword and Shield looks like it's 10 years behind in technology compared to things like Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's crazy how like low the standard is for that, like just technically speaking. But I mean, personally, I think I like the chibi style of the characters. I think it looks good. I think it looks fine at the very worst. It's inoffensive to me, and I said, I didn't finish Diamond and Pearl ever, and so I never played either of those. I've only played like about half of Platinum, like I said on my my 3DS here, but I'm just gonna hold off on it and probably play the remakes and see, because they are including the platinum stuff, by the way, into these remakes, which people were worried about.
Thank God. Yeah, I'm actually like super excited for the remaster. I think I'm not sure like what the general consensus was on the Gen 3 remakes, but I really didn't get into it for some reason. But that's probably because I just wasn't a fan of that generation anyway. So I guess just another game in that engine wasn't going to do it. I felt like it took out too much. So I was quite relieved by the fact that it's a 1-to-1 remake. I I mean, like Bree said, I am probably more inclined to play on my DS anyway, but I'm glad that like the Pokemon fans of today will experience something close to what we got to have. I might buy it just for the bloody increased battle speed, though. I hope they aren't faithful to that.
Oh no, they can't be faithful.
Well, they
to that.
they showed some clips of the gameplay from the battle. Unless it was like artificially sped up, it looks like as fast as like Sword and Shield.
Pretty
you know?
normal. Yeah.
So hopefully that's good. The character models in the battle scenes look pretty good though. I'm not mad about that. The Pokemon models, by the way, look better than Sword and Shield while in battle. Like for me,
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm not too mad. I'm excited. I'll probably get those when they come out, and see what's up. So, last question. Let's close out. Are there enough ghosts?
I don't think so. I think they could fit a lot more into that mansion, couldn't they?
Yeah,
I'm
I
up
mean,
for
like,
more
I don't know. Are there?
ghosts.
I guess
There's
more
a
ghost
decent
Pokemon.
amount in Gen 4, right?
There's Miss Magius. What else is there?
The Drifloon.
Drifloon, yeah, Drifloon. There could be more, I think.
Yeah, that's like one of the least added types every generation. It feels like.
Yeah. They finally started in like the last 2 gens. They started adding a bunch of ghosts, which is good. Yeah. Well, all right, cool. Let's move on. So, our game today is Who's That Pokemon 2, the sequel. We did this last time we did a Pokemon 1, but I've changed it up a little bit. So, what I have here, let me find it. Documents. Pokemon. So, this is a what I've done here is I've taken some of the Chinese names of Gen 4 Pokemon and I've translated them back into English using Google Translate.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna tell you what the name is, and you guys need to tell me, which Pokemon is that.
Okay.
I would do this right now, except it seems that doesn't want to. Okay, Microsoft Office is updating. I've never seen this before.
It's a new one.
What are you talking about? Hold on, I'm gonna try to open it through Google Drive through Sheets. Give me 1 second.
The Chinese have found out our plan.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay, Pokemon. Launching it. Hold on.
You know why they're doing
Come
this?
on.
Do you remember when we talked about how
Why is
Reggie
that?
Fils-Aimé is behind COVID-19 because he invented 5G? They're onto us.
Yeah,
They're trying
that's
to
correct.
censor us because we put the truth out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I was able to open it in Google Drive. Okay, so let's get started. How do you guys feel about Wind Ball? Who do you think that is? Some of these are easier at the beginning. It'll definitely get worse at the end. Wind Ball.
Drifloon.
Yeah, Drifloon.
Oh, it is.
right?
Okay.
Easy,
Yeah.
easy money, dude.
That's what I was
Drifloon.
thinking.
Yeah, with I think Drifloom is just little Wind Ball. So, all right. How about Sea Hare? HARE. SEA.
Oh, it's that
H-A-R-E.
weird mud. What's that thing named? The mud horse thing. No, not the mud horse. The
What is it? Sea Hare.
Seadra?
This is This is only Gen 4 Pokemon. All of them are Gen 4.
Is it the thing that looks like a Lapras? It's like pink and blue though.
Yeah.
What's that thing named?
What's it called?
Oh my gosh. It's a ground type, groundwater.
Yeah, it's groundwater. That's what I was thinking. Ground. I
Oh.
forgot the name. Is it Plessy or something? Plethora? I don't know.
Plethora? What do you no?
I can't remember the names, but I know what it looks like.
Is it? Wait, hang on.
Okay. It is that Pokemon.
Wait, did I do
I don't know what to.
Is it Shitless?
Oh, what is it? Gig? No. Goo.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you
So
hear my
what
I thought? Who I thought?
Gone?
was your guess?
Man.
Mine was Shellos.
No, what? No, it's the evolution of that
Oh,
Gastrodon.
Gastrodon. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's it.
On
yeah.
why it's prompting me to install Office. I already have Office. What's happening? What happened to Microsoft? Okay. Next one is this is hard to. Okay, so circle in mage.
Oh, is that Miss Magius?
No, it is not.
Oh.
Circle in mage.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a psychic type?
No,
Wait, hang
Oh
on.
man.
absolutely
Oh.
not.
Everything cut
Oh
out there.
no.
What was the one this time?
Circle in mage.
Okay, are there circular
What?
Pokemon?
In Mage.
It is sort of a circular Pokemon. I'll give him that.
In mage.
I know.
Oh
Is
man.
it that? Oh, it's that Phantom one with the purple cloud dude. What's he called?
What? And these are all Gen 4,
Purple
remember?
one.
Purple
Yeah,
cloud.
Purple Cloud.
Gen 4.
Is that a flying type?
Oh, what's he called?
It's not that. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's not that one.
Hang on, it will come back to me.
Okay, this one is
He has a purple
Kricketot.
cloud.
Wait, what?
The Mage and Circle?
Yeah, the
Circle
circle.
and Mage?
Yeah, the
Oh,
mage in
I was
circles
looking
is
at that
Kricketot.
too. I was
That's not a
thinking-
cloud.
Oh,
All right.
Spiritomb, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How about Cyclops?
Abomasnow.
No.
Mm.
Rhyperior?
Your hint is that this creature definitely has 2 eyes.
I think there's a lot of those.
Uh-huh. No, I'm saying that like it's called.
Oh, is it Duskfire?
No, it's not. It has 2 eyes. That's what I'm saying. It's called
Oh.
Cyclops, but it has 2 eyes.
Mamoswine.
Oh,
No, this is Craniodos. Cyclops.
Oh. That does not make much
That's
sense.
It's a bad name for it.
Very
This one you might get. Dream Monster.
Oh, is it one of the legendaries?
Dust
oh
Nord?
God, Darkrai?
Mm,
Darkrai.
nope. One of you said it earlier for something.
Oh. Miss Magus?
Yeah, that's Miss Magius.
Oh,
Dream Monster.
I like that.
All right, here's one that's completely unrelated. I'm going to go ahead and help you by telling you it is not Scoropy or Drapion. This one is Scorpion King.
Oh.
Drapion would be my first pick.
Yeah.
Scorpion King.
It isn't. This creature is not a scorpion. Is in fact maybe the farthest thing from a scorpion.
Is it a Mamoswine?
Is it
No.
a monarchy?
Is it what?
Is it like?
Is it a bug
Does
type?
it look royal?
It's a grass type.
Okay.
Oh, is it the Tangela thing? What's that thing?
No.
called?
Tangrowth. No.
Yeah.
Carnivine?
No. This is Leafeon.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
even type at all.
He's a scorpion? I didn't know
Okay,
that.
it looks like it. How about Flower Rock Monster?
Flower Rock Monster.
And this is not Cradilly. This is only Gen 4.
Is this Abomasnow?
No.
Our rock monster. Roserade?
Nope. It's not a rock type, nor is it a grass type.
Mm.
Oh.
Flower
Is it a rock type?
No. No, it's neither of those. This is Spiritomb. Come on, guys. The Flower
Oh.
Rock Monster.
I mean, it does have a rock on him.
It is a monster.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a few more. The Basin is strange.
That's the name of the Pokemon?
Yep.
What?
The Basin.
Welcome to the
Oh,
Basin.
is it
It's
the-
strange.
Is it the baby
is-
evolution of the pre-evolution of Mr. Mime? Mime Junior.
No. No, it is not Mime Jr. This creature does not have any sort of a basin attached to it.
Giratina?
No. This one is Bonsly.
Little bonsai?
Yeah.
That's a dramatic name.
I would not.
It's a
have
dramatic
thought that.
name. All right, this one's easy. I'll throw you. This is a softball here. Round Shark.
Sharpedo's not good.
Yeah, I was like, Sharpedo, that's not right.
Think of a different shark.
Is there more shark Pokemon?
Are there more shark Pokemon?
I have a hint. Your other hint is that the thing it evolves into is its name means land shark.
Oh, Garchomp.
Oh, so is it Gable?
Gibble, yeah.
Gibble.
Oh.
Yeah, Gibble is round shark. So Gibble is round shark, Gabite is tooth shark, and Garchomp is land shark.
I like that. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
that's easy. And Garchomp is definitely just a land shark.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. Little Kirby.
They used the name Kirby in it.
They did, yeah.
Oh,
Little Kirby.
anything?
He does have something in common with Kirby.
Oh, is it Munchlax?
It's Munchlax.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, it's Munchlax. He's a little Kirby.
Oh, that makes
Yeah, he's a little
sense.
Kirby.
Yeah.
Okay, I did
I
note
think
some
it's
fun
probably
ones that
insanely
weren't
obvious
really
that
a
I
hard.
don't all my Pokemon nicknames because I don't know any of these.
Oh yeah, no, I always nickname too. I noted down some other fun, stupid ones just for reference. Abomasnow is King Blizzard, which I like a lot.
Yeah, that one's good.
Krogunk
Yeah.
is Bad Frog. That was maybe my favorite.
Also accurate.
Drapion is Dragon King Scorpion.
Oh, that's intense.
That's really good, yeah.
How many times has
Magnezone,
he
I don't
won?
know. I don't know. I don't know what if the translator got confused, but I just copied and pasted. Magnezone became Magnezone Mystery. Can you solve? Well, honestly, figuring out how to evolve him is like a Magnezone mystery. Fucking
That's true.
stupid. What do you even have to do? Like, put like 5 Magnetons next to each other in your party and take them up the mountain or something?
Make sure you have an empty spot. Give them all an item. Yeah. Like,
Stupid. Oh my god. Make sure your Tangrowth is holding a life orb and doesn't know the attack cut. Okay. So yeah, let's close out. So thanks everybody for joining me for this. So thank you to Todd Howard. What was Todd Howard doing around this time? Doing Oblivion probably? Did any of that influence make it in
he's
here?
a man of good taste. I bet he is.
Yeah. Probably. So I do want to give a shout out quickly that I was a guest on a podcast that is very cool called Does Machines. You can find that on any app store or any podcast store. Sorry. And it's run by my friend John. He's been doing a podcast for a long time, but he has sort of rebooted and started something new. And so what he's going to do is have somebody on there every week to just talk about a thing that they're extremely passionate about and just kind of rant and yell about it and how excited they are about it. So like for me, I went on and I talked about Studio Ghibli for like an hour straight. Of my voice was like cracking by the end. And yeah, it was pretty fun. So go check that out and make sure to subscribe to his podcast. So you can find us at GameLuster.com. You can find us on YouTube.com/GameLuster for all our cool videos. My shadow video is done. I'm free. I'm not actually free, but it is done. Ree, did you watch that? Ree, can you hear me?
I haven't finished it yet. Although
It's like
see,
15
I'm
minutes
off
long.
Shadow now because I uploaded a picture of my very, very adorable puppy who happens to have dark fur, and you
Oh, yeah.
immediately commented Shadow the Hedgehog. So that is, please watch this video
Hedge
because
dog.
that is the
You didn't read
extent
my
of brain
tweet.
damage Nirav
Shadow
has
the
given
hedge.
himself
Shadow the
thinking
hedge dog.
about Shadow. Did I not?
You're not understanding. You don't
Oh
understand.
my god! I literally thought you just replied Shadow the Hedgehog. Like that's it. I thought you just replied
No.
with the name of that game.
Although that
because
is pretty
you
in
are
character
obsessed.
for me. Shadow the hedge dog. He's just his little hedge
You know
dog.
what? I slightly forgive you now.
All right. You can find us on Twitter at GameBustersPod. And yeah, so thank you to our guests. Nikhil, do you have any plugs for anything you're working on right now?
No. Just the plug for this heating pad that I've been using on my feet whenever I'm at my computer because it's been very cold the last couple weeks. So I've been plugging in this heating pad and wrapping it around my feet.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I definitely don't need that because I had to turn on the air conditioner today because it's so hot. Yeah, it's February 28th is the summer here, so yeah,
Down
the hot
south.
times. Yeah, the hot times have begun. It's like 89 degrees right now.
Oof.
Okay, so Bri, what are you working on right now? You want to plug anything?
No, I'm not doing much,
Do you want to plug your Arc server that you're trying to set up?
Okay, that's a work in progress. We'll see what happens with that. But yes, I have been into Arc lately. It's been a lot of fun. I finally kind of figured out the mechanics of it, so it's been going
It has
well.
dinosaurs in it. It's pretty good.
A lot of dinosaurs.
Ree, what are you working on right now?
I just had one of my pieces published, which was documenting every single unfulfilled promise in Cyberpunk 2077. That's on techraptor.net. You should check that out. I had to watch a lot of interviews with CD Projekt Red to do that, and that is several hours of my life I'm not getting back. So I hope people enjoy that. Right now, I'm doing another cheerful deep dive into the development of the initial 6 Days in Fallujah game. If you haven't read up on the discourse around 6 Days in Fallujah, I sort of recommend it because it's very important. But I also don't because it's incredibly frustrating. So, yeah, but that will be up on Tech Raptor soon. As for GameLuster, as usual, there's some wonderful stuff up there. Everyone's been doing a very good job of covering both the State of Play and the Nintendo Direct. So go check that out too. And finally, just check out my Twitter, please, because I got a puppy, and I'm going to be uploading a lot of pictures of little Ralph. So check that out too.
All right. So yeah, let's yeah. All right. Well, let's close out. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, if you have any suggestions for any games you want us to cover, hit us up on Twitter. Rhea, I've been thinking that I think it's probably about time. Maybe in a week or two, we'll jump back in and do another Good Games Inc. And create a new game. We've been sitting on our we've been sitting on some good ideas over here. Sorry.
How are we gonna theme this one? So the last one was, I think it was a Halloween one. Yeah.
Oh no, the first one was a Halloween one. The second one we didn't have a theme, but we also got like 10 times more suggestions, so maybe we just won't theme it.
Yeah. I mean, we could do like a coronavirus inspired one.
Yeah.
That's going on right now. That's the only thing going on.
Wasn't our last game about the coronavirus?
Yeah, it was the was it the Sonic one?
Yeah, it was the Sonic one. Like, so it was like the Lost Sonic Adventure 3 game, like where you're like all trying to like stop the virus from spreading.
Yeah, the Karens and the anti-vaxxers.
2077.
Oh yeah, it was a Plague Tale Ignorance. How could I forget?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's good. Okay, so yeah, last word for the winner. I guess there's two of us, right? So Ree, I guess we both have to say something in conjunction to break us out of here. What should that be? Also, I think you're on like a 3-second delay, so this is going to end very badly.
Anyone listening, I hope it isn't obvious, but we've got a very bad delay on the line today. So
yeah.
what the fuck are we going to say?
So who really gets the last word?
All right. We're all. Oh, you know what? Let's easy. Out of all the starters, let's just pick your favorite starter, and we'll just say them at the same time. That's an easy one. We'll get out of here.
Okay.
Your favorite starter Pokemon is what you said?
Yeah. So somebody count us down.
Oh, count which one of you down? Are we counting on American time or UK time?
Yeah. Just like count, and then I'll try to like add a 3-second delay to what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. 3, 2.
I'll get in there early.
Totodile.
Charmander.
No, Bri, you weren't supposed to do it. Damn it.
No.
Okay, well, we're trapped in here forever. Thank you guys for joining us. I think the legendary is like disrespecting Japanese culture.